Oh, I forgot to make a reservation for Miss Jones. I'm sorry. My mother-in-law pretended to look surprised and grabbed my hands. The 5 of us went to the restaurant together, but she purposefully didn't save a spot for me.
Honey, there's no need to apologize. We originally made this reservation for our son and grandson. We don't need to include strangers.
My father-in-law encouraged his wife as he laughed loudly.
Hey, Emery, be sure to pay the bill. How great is it to treat your family to a meal?
After my husband Jose spoke, my in-laws laughed even louder. Their classless laughter didn't match the quiet atmosphere of this expensive restaurant. My son, Liam, looked at me uncomfortably. I wanted to flip the table they were sitting at, but I had no energy to fight them anymore, and I didn't want my precious son to have to see that. I sighed and turned around. Fine.
I'll watch over Liam, so don't worry.
Bye, Emery Jones. Even after marrying her son, my mother-in-law always called me by my maiden name, Jones. Today, she said it again with an annoying smile on her face. She always harassed me like this, but...
Excuse me.
As I held back tears and went to pay at the front counter, a waiter suddenly grabbed my hand. Huh?
Miss Jones, no way.
It had never occurred to me that this could happen. To think that I got to meet him again, thanks to a waiter noticing what my mother-in-law said as she harassed me. From that moment on, my life completely changed. When did my married life first start falling apart? I lived together with my husband Jose and son Liam. The happy life we lived in our 3-bedroom apartment is a story from the past. I first met Jose in university. He looked like a model and had a way with words, so there were many girls chasing after him. The fact he chose me must have meant he really liked me, right? Jose was the type that always put himself first. He hid that very well, but as we became closer, I quickly found out. I can be indecisive and feel most secure when I'm following people. I was surprised when Jose confessed his feelings to me, but thinking about it now, it must be because he liked my weak personality. As we were dating, I began to question his personality, but since such a great person chose me, I told myself not to be too picky. After we graduated university, my doubts became stronger. Thanks to his father's help, Jose was hired by a large company and was given preferential treatment. He was an only son, so his parents definitely spoiled him. My father-in-law's acquaintance managed an apartment building, so he gave us a solid discount on our rent. I assumed that my in-laws were upset. Jose had chosen me because they had taken care of and arranged everything so well for him so far. My in-laws despised me. I will never forget the contemptuous look in their eyes when we first met. Hey, don't you think your parents really hate me?
Really? You don't need to pay attention to them. You're not marrying them, you're marrying me.
At the time, Jose sounded strangely reliable, so I made the mistake of listening to him and thinking that it would be okay. Jose and I got married, but his parents still didn't accept me as part of their family. Even now, they still call me by my maiden name. A year after getting married, I gave birth to our son, Liam. Without Liam, I would have given up a long time ago. For the first year after Liam was born, my in-laws' attitude slightly changed. They were really happy to be having their first grandchild, and my mother-in-law even thanked me for giving birth to Liam. Those were the first and last words of gratitude I'd ever hear from her. Once Liam turned 2 years old, things returned to how they used to be, if not worse. If my in-laws visited our home, they would only look at Jose and Liam. Jose was also cheating on me while I was busy with Liam. No matter how many times I thought to myself that I want to escape, I decided I should stay with Jose until Liam becomes an adult. I told myself that even a father like Jose was better than Liam not having a father at all. But then one day, it was the weekend and my in-laws had come over to play with Liam as usual. As they were leaving in the evening, they said something surprising.
Oh, right. Let's have a birthday party for Jose next week. I made a reservation at King. King? That's the restaurant our CEO's son manages, right? I've heard it's really hard to get a reservation there. Yeah, I made a special request to the CEO for you.
My father-in-law proudly said to Jose. I expected that they'd want to go somewhere without me like they did last year, but my mother-in-law turned to me. So, you should keep your schedule open too. Huh? As I was still collecting myself from my shock, my in-laws left. I didn't understand what was going on, but this could be the first step of us fixing our relationship. I became somewhat hopeful. It was the day of Jose's birthday. We all gathered at the restaurant. Hearing that it was a high-class restaurant, I imagined a huge place, but it was actually pretty small. It was the type of place that only a select few customers could eat in at the same time. My father-in-law seemed very proud of himself. As we were entering, I saw a large engraved stone sign that said King. Seeing that name brought up some old memories, and I began to feel nostalgic. Thinking about it, there was a guy named King in high school. I began to smile without realizing. We were shown to a table in a private room. However, the table in the room had only 4 chairs. The waiter nervously turned to us.
I'm sorry, I will get one more chair for you. Oh, don't worry, 4 chairs are enough.
The waiter looked confused, but I immediately understood what my father-in-law was trying to say. My mother-in-law chimed in. Oh no, I forgot to make a reservation for Mrs. Jones. I'm sorry. My mother-in-law pretended to look surprised and grabbed my hands. The 5 of us went to the restaurant together, but she purposefully didn't save a spot for me.
Honey, there's no need to apologize. We originally made this reservation for our son and grandson. We don't need to include strangers.
My father-in-law encouraged his wife as he laughed loudly.
Hey, Emery, be sure to pay the bill. How great is it to treat your family to a meal?
After my husband Jose spoke, my in-laws laughed even louder. Their classless laughter didn't match the quiet atmosphere of this expensive restaurant. My son Liam looked at me uncomfortably. I wanted to flip the table they were sitting at, but I had no energy to fight them anymore, and I didn't want my precious son to have to see that. I sighed and turned around. Fine.
I'll watch over Liam, so don't worry.
Bye, Emery Jones. I heard more laughter behind me as I exited the room. I headed towards the exit as I wiped away tears that suddenly began rolling down my cheeks. The waiter that walked out of the room with me suddenly grabbed my hand.
Excuse me? Are you Mrs. Emery Jones?
Huh? Yeah. About the bill.
There's no need for you to take care of the bill. Please, follow me.
I wondered what was going on, but I didn't pull away my hand and follow the waiter. Even as we walked further away from the private dining room, I could still hear my father-in-law's loud voice.
It'll be so expensive that she won't be able to pay for it. She'll probably start crying.
If she can't afford to pay, she should wash dishes. As we headed towards a staff room, I breathed a sigh of relief because I finally couldn't hear my in-laws' conversation anymore. But why did the waiter take me here? He opened the door as I was getting more worried. A tall man with a pouty face stood in front of me. I recognized him from somewhere. Who could it be? I gazed at him seriously, and he raised an eyebrow. From that gesture, it hit me. Are you King?
Yeah, it's sure been a while, Emery.
The restaurant King was named after my friend from high school, King. King smiled and then became serious.
Emery, can you leave them to me?
Them? Do you mean my husband and in-laws?
Yeah, let's go there now.
He took my hand and wordlessly pulled me towards the private dining room. King opened the door with a bang. Everyone immediately turned to look at him. My father-in-law stood up and gave an amicable smile.
Oh, it's Chef King. You have a really serious look on your face. Did something happen? It's about Emery.
My in-laws looked shocked. King and I were classmates in high school. King was really rebellious at the time, and he skipped school often. After something happened, we began talking to each other and became friends. Though he looked aggressive, he was actually a very kind guy. After hearing what King said, my in-laws' faces both went blue.
Oh, we didn't intend to. Then please explain to me what you were trying to do.
Jose spoke up with a pathetic voice and stepped over to us. Turning to see what Jose was looking at, I saw an older man who looked like King coming towards us. I wanted to burst out into laughter, but the atmosphere in the room was intense.
Were you the people who treated my son's friend so rudely? But, boss, what happened? Won't you explain? He's wrong. There's been a misunderstanding. Hey, Emery, say something. I asked you, not Emery. I don't need rude employees like you. Don't come to our office anymore. No way! Wait, please, give me a chance. I'm incredibly sorry. Please, forgive us.
The two of them desperately apologized, and my mother-in-law began crying. Liam came over to me. He was scared, and he had tears in his eyes. I told him not to be scared and patted his head. With some time, he finally calmed down and smiled again.
If you're really sincere, you should prove it with your actions. Clean the restaurant after we close tonight. People with dirty hearts like yours should learn how to clean.
King and his father took Liam and I to a separate room and gave us an incredible meal. The food was amazingly delicious, though King acted very humbly. They even made a special kids meal for Liam.
Liam, your mom is a great person.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you probably do. Do you want me to tell you a story?
King began sharing a story from the past. King hated studying when we were in high school. His parents were elites, but he was horrible at studying, so he had a very low opinion of himself and felt like he didn't belong in his family. He skipped class so many days that he was at the verge of getting expelled. One day, King and I were in the same group for a cooking assignment in home ec class. Can I try this? Wow, it's delicious! You're so good at seasoning food.
I did it randomly.
No way! I saw how many times you sampled the food. There's no way it was random. I didn't think much of what I said, but that was the first time King had ever received a compliment. Thanks to that, King began studying cooking. Of course, he didn't become a pro immediately. He made many mistakes along the way.
I'm really useless.
You're not useless, you just need to be creative with your cooking.
Huh?
No matter what kind of delicious ingredients you use, if they aren't cooked well, they won't taste good. Measure portions properly. Try different combinations. Or let things sit overnight once in a while.
Creative.
Similarly, no matter what kind of talent one has, it doesn't mean everything they make will be perfect. So, you need to be creative. That made King finally realize. He started to aim at being a pro, and he eventually became a world-renowned chef. From then on, King's relationship with his parents improved. But after hearing the whole story, I have to admit that I didn't get it. Did I really say something like that?
Did you forget?
Mom, you're amazing! King's story didn't stop there. He spoke to his employees about me many times. So when the waiter heard my name, he recognized it and knew he had to save me. So, the store name wasn't by chance.
Yeah, you're the one who once wrote my name with a C instead of a K, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose.
No, I'm happy that happened. You're the only person who paid attention to me then. I thought that writing the restaurant name with a C would make it stand out and be easier to remember. So, thank you.
One of the waitstaff called to King, and he exited the room. I thought over what I said to King back then. I should also be creative with my life. If I don't do my best, of course, things won't turn out how I want them to. Looking over at Liam, I made up my mind. I will divorce Jose and start my life from scratch. 1 year later...
Hey!
King! Liam rushed to hug King, who had come over to visit. King hugged Liam back and smiled. After that time at the restaurant, King and I began seeing each other often and started dating. We're now considering getting married. I haven't talked to Liam about it yet, but I'm sure that he'll be happy. Liam was so attached to King that I was convinced of this. After that incident, my ex-father-in-law and Jose were both demoted. They screamed to their bosses for forgiveness. Large companies like theirs have complicated HR processes, so they haven't been fired yet. They're still holding on somehow in the company's shadows. King and I watched over Liam as he peacefully slept after getting tired out from playing with King. Liam is worried because he's not good at studying. He's tried his hand at cooking to be like you, but things didn't go well and he got even more sad.
Really? Isn't he very athletic?
Yeah. The other day, he got first place in a sprinting contest at school.
No need to worry about him then.
King and I made eye contact and smiled. I've always wanted to enjoy quiet time with my partner like this.
I will teach Liam the way you taught me. Everything is good at different things.
That's right. Thank you, King. King kindly patted Liam's head with his large hands. He really looked like they could be father and son.